Hello guys, gals, friends, poetry lovers, welcome to my channel. Let's talk motivation, or rather, the lack of it. In the last few years, especially in the last few months, I have found myself often lacking motivation to do basic things. Go to the store to buy some food. Heck, I found myself lacking motivation to go take a shower. It's been a tough few months for me, and I'm going to be talking about those problems in future videos, but for now, I wanted to talk about how you and how I can get rid of this lack of motivation and how I can motivate myself and how you can motivate yourself to getting something done. We all want to achieve something in our lives, we all want to do something worthwhile with our lives, and most of the time for people that have problems with depression and low self-esteem, it's tough. It's tough getting through those things, and it's tough to try and fight yourself. You are your biggest enemy, and most of the time you win, but the bad part of you wins. In the last few years, I've met several people that have started to help with those problems. Most of all, one of my friends, a very dear friend, has made it quite clear that I am worth something, even though I didn't believe it, even though I didn't think as much of myself. Basically, what she said I should start doing is I should start rewarding myself, because these psychological problems have come onto me because I didn't get all the rewards or all the admiration I could have gotten as a kid or as a young adult. And that's kind of true, because I always felt that with my family I kind of tried being the dutiful son, and I tried being a perfect son in school and after school activities, and I always tried being polite and nice, and all that's good, and you should be polite, but with my parents and with my friends, it was always, if I do something good, then nothing comes of it. I don't get a reward, not a psychological reward. I don't get any kind of notification that I did something good. However, when I did something bad, then, well, basically it would be a bit of a storm. I don't want to curse. I know YouTube doesn't really look kindly upon that, but basically it was a shitstorm every time I did something bad. And by bad I mean I got low grades in school, or I was lazy and didn't do my work as much as I should have. I am still young, I'm 23 years old, but I realize that I'm not alone in having these problems. Most of these problems come from our parents and from people around us, because we don't usually get to pick the people in the early days. We don't get to pick people who come into our lives. It's only when you get to these young adult years that you start really filtering out the people you want in your lives. And to my astonishment, when I started picking apart my friendships and my family, I realized that a whole bunch of those people that were in my life weren't there because I needed them. They weren't in there for any kind of positive measure. They were there because I didn't have anyone else. And then a year and a half ago now, I met this friend who I already talked about, and she basically changed everything, because she came into my life and she showed me how good my life could be, in a sense, and she showed me that I am worth something. I am worth of some admiration, and she gave me a platform on how I can start getting myself motivated in the future. The platform that she offered me was basically a system of small rewards. So I write a poem, I do my work, I study, and after every little success I make, I go out and I buy a toy, or I buy a chocolate bar, or I get an hour of playing video games or anything. So basically very small rewards for the successes that you do make. And if you start doing this, after some time it does stack up, and you start realizing that you are motivated to work because you know that it is worthwhile, that you will get rewarded for it, and that's a very good thing, because you start respecting yourself a whole lot more. And once you start respecting yourself, then things kind of fall into place. The next thing she said was that I should always give myself time. Basically, she said you need to give yourself time to rest, time to think, and time to prepare yourself for the jobs at hand. So what I was doing was, because I had a lack of motivation, I would just go and do stuff. Because I knew if I started talking about those problems with myself, and if I started analyzing the work I had to do, I would get demotivated and wouldn't do it. And then my strategy was just go and do it. And the work wasn't really good. The poetry I wrote in high school and my early college years wasn't really something that I'm proud of. But the poetry and the work I've been doing in the last year or maybe 2 years is something far better than I would have anticipated. And it's because I started respecting myself and I started realizing that I could do stuff, and I prepared for the jobs at hand. If I was writing a story, I took some time to prepare a skeleton of the story and creating my characters. And if I write poetry, then I basically took time. I took a walk, I cleared my head, I thought about the things I wanted to write about, whether that be love or politics or anything. And then again, it all started falling into place. So this made all the difference. And I realized that I'm not alone with these problems, and most of my friends have all shared these problems, that they can't finish college because they just get bogged down in the mud, and they get demotivated and they lose interest because no one is rewarding them for that. Basically, today's society, especially here in Serbia, where I live, it's become an expectation of us that we need to finish college, that we need to find a job, that we need to do all of that. And we do need to do that, but we also need to be rewarded for doing it. And what kind of reward do young adults now have? When you finish college, you can't find a job, you can't find an apartment to live in that's cheap, you can't start a family, you can't make the next step. If you have that kind of a outlook on the world and on life, then you really don't get any kind of motivation to finish college and to start working. But you really should be doing those things because it's going to be good for you in the long run. So these kinds of systems of self-rewarding and giving yourself time to work things out are really good. And what I would like you to take out of this video, and I hope you will take this with you, is that you do have some worth. Not some worth, you have worth. You're awesome, basically. You can make a difference if you just start working on yourself. Start rewarding yourself and you'll change yourself. And once you change yourself, you can change the world. So yeah, that's basically it. If you like this video, please hit the like button, give me a comment, hit the subscribe button and the bell. You know the drill. Thank you for watching.